One of the biggest complaints that people have with the new Rebel 1100, myself included, is how crappy the suspension is from the factory. But fortunately, it is super easy to adjust it in both the front and the rear, and today I'm going to show you exactly how.
Perfect.
Welcome back to Life of Birch. This is Birch, and today I'm finally getting around to tuning the suspension to exactly how I like it. Like I said, from the factory, the settings are not the greatest for most people, but fortunately it is adjustable for preload in the front and in the rear. If you're not sure what preload is, I'll leave a link in the description that will describe it a lot better than I would ever be able to. Most people just refer to it as how soft or stiff the springs are, but there's a lot more that goes into it, so I'm not even going to try and describe what it is, but I'm just going to show you how to adjust it. Alright, so let's just jump straight into it. First, we will adjust the rear springs, and to do that you have this nifty little tool that comes in your toolkit underneath the seat, and all you're going to do is put the spanner wrench on there and turn it. Now from the factory it's going to be set 3 clicks from the softest setting. To get to the softest setting you go counterclockwise, and to get to the firmest setting you go clockwise. So right now I have it set on 6. I believe there's 20 different levels of setting, but I have it on 6. From the factory it comes at 3. I found that the 6 is a little bit too firm for me, if you will, just from my quick little ride. I weigh 155 just for reference, so I'm going to take it 1 click softer to 5. So to do that, you're just going to put this little notch right in there, and you're going to turn it counterclockwise until you hear it click. Did you hear that little click? And as you could tell, it definitely has a lot of rotation before it does click. On my 500, it would be like a quarter turn before it clicked, like if even that. With this, it's a lot more turn, so I think that's why the 3 adjustments kind of had it too stiff for me. And I should also note that you never want to do too big of an adjustment at once. You want to give the shock and the spring time to adjust. So for example, you never want to go from the stock 3 all the way to 20, because that could cause some damage. If you're going to do that, you might want to go up like 3 clicks at a time. And then if you wanted to do it firmer, you would put it in there and turn it clockwise until it clicks, and then you hear it click like that and it's in place. You can see like the notch right there that lines in there. That's what you're hearing click as it sets. Let me put it back to the 5. Alright, so that's at 5, so that's where I want it to be. And then we'll come back to the other side. Also worth noting, you definitely want to make sure that each one is set the exact same. So you don't want to have that one on 3 and that one on 6 or whatever. You want to have them both on the same thing. So again, this one is on 6, and we're going to take it 1 click counterclockwise to bring it back down to 5. Alright, so you just hook that in there, give it a turn, and it clicks into place. And again, if you're unsure of like what setting it's on because you've been adjusting it too much or whatever, you can always go fully counterclockwise to the softest setting, bring it back to 3, which is factory, and then go from there so that you know that they're both in the same setting. So super easy for that. And now let's adjust the front. Alright, so for the front preload, you're going to want to get a flathead screwdriver, and you could use this little end of this to do it, but I'll see if I can show you. It's kind of tight, like especially here because I have the ram mount. If you get it in there, it's a super snug fit, and it's like pressed up against the bar, so it's a little difficult. So I found that the screwdriver's skinnier and easier to do. So again, it's just preload for this. From the factory, it is 3/8 of an inch from the top of the adjustment cap to the top of that bolt. So far, I did it a full turn clockwise to stiffen it up, and I feel like in the front, there's definitely too much input from the road, so I'm going to do it a half turn to the left. So you just stick your screwdriver in there, and then you're just going to turn it. Half turn to the left, do the same for this, and boom, we're done. Within a couple minutes, we have the front and rear suspension all dialed in, or I should say adjusted. I don't know if it's dialed in. I'm still going to fine tune it, see how this rides, but just from my quick little ride, I feel like that should be about where I need it set. The 6 felt a lot better than the 3 in the rear, but just a little bit too stiff. Like I feel like when I sit on the bike, it doesn't compress at all, but on the highway, it ate up bumps way better than the 3. And like I said, in the front, holy crap, those waves are splashing so high, I feel like they're gonna get on my bike. Anyway, in the front, like I said, it just felt like there was too much like input from the road, if that makes sense, almost like jittery, like you could feel every pebble, so that's why I softened up the front. It's worth noting that even though lots of people say the suspension feels stiff or rough or whatever from the factory, it actually helps to go stiffer, if you will, because what lots of people are experiencing is the shock actually bottoming out. If you don't watch Quasi Motard's channel yet, definitely check that out. He has an 1100 and goes way more in depth than I do actually doing like a test on the rear with a zip tie to show when it's bottoming out and where the compression is and all that kind of stuff. I'm just kind of using the butt dyno to see what feels best, but he definitely goes a lot more in depth than I do. But essentially what he found is that the stock 3 setting felt stiff, but it's because even when he was leaving his driveway, the compression was essentially bottoming out. So it might feel stiff, but that's because it's hitting the bump stop and just kind of jarring you. So actually making it a little bit, quote, stiffer with the preload is what should help. So currently I have the rear set to a 5 instead of the factory 3, and then I have the front set to a half turn firmer than factory. We'll see how it does on this ride, and of course after I kind of fine tune it more, I'll be posting to let you guys know what settings I found to be the best. As you can see, this is super easy to do. Anybody can do it, even if you don't have any mechanical experience. Hopefully that helped you, and hopefully that kind of helps the ride of your new 1100. And if you're thinking about getting one and the scary suspension is keeping you from doing it, I would say fear not, get it, play around with it, tune the suspension, and it should be a whole bunch better. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to smash that like button if you liked what you saw. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. You're obviously here for Rebel 1100 content, and I have plenty of it already and plenty more to come. Lots of how-tos coming with the bike as more parts are available for it. I do lots of cool little moto vlogs and all that kind of good stuff, so definitely check that out if you haven't already, and we will catch you on the next one. Love you guys. Peace.